Alrighty, and welcome back. We currently have, it's backwards on the screen. I'm going to fix that really quickly, but we have University of North Texas. We have CU Boulder on the left and University of North Texas on the right. I am Bahamut, your caster. With me, Stixay, how you doing?
Hey dude, how's it going? I'm glad to be back. I am hyped for Tespa. I am so excited to be able to cast this. I think this is going to be awesome.
I am absolutely just pumped about this, and right away we are going to be going into Brax's Holdout. We already have a Kale Thuzad ban.
Kale Thuzad. Two heroes in one.
I guess, yeah, I added in the A too, but either way, we're going to have that ban out right away, and then on top of that, we're going to have Malthael too. That's
Quick bans, yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely I really actually I love the choices that they're making here, making sure that they're not getting some of those. Oopsie, trying to get.
I think the
name updated.
Kel'Thuzad ban is 100% agreed upon here. Kel'Thuzad gets a lot of value in 4-mans, so Brax's Holdout typically is a 4-man. Sometimes you do see the 3-2 split, but if Kel'Thuzad is able to get that, get those stacks as early as possible, makes it super easy. Malthael gets rid of a a solid solo laner, and then Garrosh pick, pretty standard pick, really good in 4-mans as well. You're going to be looking for some follow-up stuns and some burst damage. I expect to see an Uther, potentially a Vala, Rain of Vengeance, just a lot of burst damage, maybe even a Greymane. That's my guess for the side of CU Boulder.
Yeah, on the right hand side, left hand side, CU Boulder. They pick up that Garrosh. I like that as the start of their draft, and it really opens the doors. I'm curious to see if University of Texas, they do go. University of North Texas. I want to make sure I say that right. I don't know. They could just go. Oh, never mind. So they go support and main damage. They could go for the hyper carry Vala here. That'll be interesting, actually, if they do that. She works in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I think picking up Vala here is very strong. I've seen a lot of Q build Valas lately. Very, very strong build. Mm-hmm. So I imagine we'll be seeing a Q out of this one here. Stukov just really good on the point. That big AoE silence. Lots of value on this map. And then Gul'dan Ariel, well-known duo combo here. Solid picks, I would say.
The other thing that with the Gul'dan and Ariel that you have to consider is the wave clear that he provides. I mean, usually you go into the Felflame build, and that typically when that Zerg wave's coming down, you can melt it before it realistically gets to your gate. Granted, this is, like a little bit later in the game if you're not having a fort up or something, but he definitely does have a lot of defense. But I really like the draft that they have here because it doesn't give away too much as to what they're going to be going into, and the Genji ban I like. Getting rid of the cheese, making sure that there aren't those quick rotations for potential ganks. I like that. That's a strong pickup. Or strong ban.
Yeah, Genji, very good hero. The Mimi, fair and balanced. I think it's a solid ban. I definitely do agree with that. Having somebody able to rotate between the lanes for a potential pickup and the kill potential on Genji is absolutely huge. But I feel like Genji gets a lot more value on those 3-lane apps, though. But Dahaka being banned out here, I would say that this is just a no-brainer.
Definitely a strong solo laner. He would work with the composition of for University of North Texas, so I like that. And it's one of those things. It's like we don't want to deal with that, but Uther and Nubarak's ooh. The die from Nubek's going to be really, really powerful, and the D shield from Uther is going to be... That's just going to be just a save for a Nubarak if he does need to get out. I like that. Even then, you could go into Divine Storm realistically, too.
Honestly, the Uther pickup here surprises me, despite having the Stukov. Stukov's more than a competent solo healer, but to see the Uther pickup, I imagine we're going to be seeing maybe a little bit more damage out of one of these two supports. Both are capable of outputting some decent numbers. Uther can get really tanky. It provides an additional front line for the team. The armor is really good, but I imagine we might be seeing another tank here, like another warrior of some kind. Maybe a Sonya for the solo, and then, as you mentioned, solo hard carry Vala.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like it's shaping up to be. Now, Greymane, just to note, is still available. You can still put him in that solo lane, and then we often see it to Alarak. So those are often pickups here, but we actually have a Sonya and Li Ming for CU Boulder. And I like that. I really like that, actually.
So Sonya makes sense to me here. I think Sonya absolutely makes sense. You know, it gives you that solo laner, but picking up Li Ming leads me to believe that they're looking at going into like a 3-2 split here. I don't think having double mage in a lane that's going to have a Nubarak is going to be very strong. So I'm predicting to have a Garrosh, Sonya, Li Ming lane, and then Gul'dan, Ariel in the other. That's what I'm expecting.
That's honestly a realistic. That's realistic. But the other thing that I think they honestly pick up the Li Ming here for is just purely just to counter the web wrap. Since they do have the solo healer, I honestly think that might be the only reason they're picking it up. And the other factor too, I mean, she does have really good poke too. So I mean, even if they still run like a double mage in bottom lane, I still think like it's doable. And there's the Alarak that I was thinking for the solo lane on the side of University of North Texas. I really like that. The control from Alarak on this map is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. See, and this is Alarak pre his giant rework. I think was an excellent solo laner. I still think he's an excellent solo laner.
I honestly think we're gonna be seeing him there. Yeah.
I imagine so, based off this team, but I'd like to see Alarak in a 4-man at level 4. You know, trying to get those stacks as quickly as possible. This is a more than opportune game for him to hit that triple Q. Definitely.
No, I absolutely think that I really like the Alarak pickup here. Is just going to be really powerful. I'm just excited about this. I don't think I've casted a double mage game like ever.
I can't say I've seen one recently.
Exactly.
Other than quick match. All right, but we'll be getting into this very shortly. So as once again, we've got CU Boulder, the university versus the University of North Texas. And for those of you that are joining in and are curious as to what this is Tespa Heroes Training Ground. So Tespa is a collegiate level esports group or community, and they have a whole bunch of different chapters on school premises and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun, really cool. And, they do this for the fall and potentially winter semesters.
Alrighty, and on the left-hand side, we are going to have CU Boulder with Celeritas on the Sonya, Pyrotechnic on the Ariel, Revolve to Solve on the Gul'dan, Basshead on the Garrosh, and Sub-Zero will be on the Li Ming.
All right, and then on the right-hand side in the red, we got the University of North Texas. Anubarak being played by Calgare. Alarak being played by Physicals. Akin, or AKN, on Stukov. Arms of Gold on Uther. And rounding it all up, we got Zed Fury on Vala.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and have that 4-man in bottom. We do have the Alarak in top, and it actually looks like they're just going to go ahead and put that solo Sonya up there. They're going to run a double mage in bottom. This is interesting. I'm excited to see how this is going to work out, because they've got so much poke on the side of CU Boulder.
I imagine we're going to be seeing Anubarak popping out beetles as soon as possible to minimize the amount of poke damage from Li Ming. But we'll see how this goes. You're going to be looking at a good toss there by Basshead, tossing Fury a little bit over, but great engage here by Stukov and Anubarak onto the Li Ming. Sub-Zero already taking a ton of damage early on into this game.
But that damage that is going to be coming out from the Gul'dan consistently will fill up that hope bar from Ariel enough to, you can already see Sub-Zero's back to full pretty much. And it looks like the poke damage, this is what I was talking about, the poke is going to be really powerful for them to make sure that they don't really get, ganked in any of these bush, these bush setups that they have. We actually have a toss onto Calgar there, but he will be able to get out. The dive from Anubarak is going to be really powerful here for the side of University of North Texas.
Something to point out is Gul'dan has opted for the E build, so that's something corruption going to be coming out. So no Qs here. And Vala also not going a Q build. opting to go with Hot Pursuit here, but a great toss once again by the Garrosh. Unfortunately, hitting the Anubarak, who does have that escape, so good for Anubarak. Unfortunate target for the side of CU Boulder.
Just in top really quick, we're going to go ahead and be able to catch this Sonya just getting bodied through the gate. I'm sorry. And actually, we're going to drop down to bottom. We're going to go ahead and see Z Fury going to get hit out too. So that's going to be a trade right there, and it looks like they're going to be at least holding this over. Okay, I thought for a second UNT was going to go ahead and get the bottom point, but no. CU Boulder goes ahead and picks it up.
Now, UNT technically wins this trade because Sonya is no longer up in that top lane. They are forced to rotate somebody up to this top lane, making it a 3v3 in the bottom lane, regardless where, you know, your team, the majority of your team is already in that, getting soak there, and then leaving Alarak up alone in that top lane. So you get an extra potential wave of soak. So you do get that a little bit of an advantage in EXP. But in the bottom lane, Gul'dan will be falling, and now this makes it a 4v2 as Li Ming and Sonya are still up in that top lane.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be probably trying to bully him out of the lane, and he's going to be able to utilize that telekinesis just to make sure that he gets out safe. But in that bottom lane, yeah, we saw Z Fury dive in on Gul'dan, and Ariel unfortunately could not get the healing out quick enough, so they'll be holding this over, and it looks like they'll be getting top as well. Nubrak going to be rotating in. Could maybe potentially see a little bit of a fight here. Looks like they're going to go in onto Sonya. Li Ming trying to put a bunch of damage out. There's a little bit of body blocking coming out. Sonya is trying to get so much damage onto Alarak. The telekinesis will take both of them together, and we will be seeing him fall. And it looks like, no, they're going to walk away with that free kill.
This is a great aggression here from the Sonya onto Alarak. Alarak only has the hopes of Anubarak hitting what is 2 straight line skill shots of stuns. Mind you, Alarak does have his Q to interrupt the big spin to win, but down in that bottom lane, Vala picking up a double kill on the Gul'dan Ariel, and potentially here on the Garrosh, yes, picking up that triple kill. Great pressure from UNT down here in the bottom lane. That's going to net them a total of 3 kills, the Shrine, and the wave of soak, and then also picking up the Li Ming in the top lane. UNT quickly taking the kill advantage in this game.
I'm glad you're doing some play-by-plays right now, because I'm just like watching health bars. I'm trying to watch the mini-map. Like, these guys are all over the place. UNT have just turned on the aggression at this point. They hit their 7s, or even before that. I mean, they're just been so aggressive. I mean, we just saw Calgar in the top. Actually, we have a whip from Ariel onto Calgar. Gonna get actually tossed here. I don't think he has the burrow. It looks like they're going to be getting a little bit of damage onto him, but not enough. There is going to be AKN getting that silence out, which forcing a few of the members back.
Couple of free stacks for Gul'dan, though,
exactly,
on the Stukov sitting down. But we're going to be hopefully seeing Li Ming and Gul'dan clean this out very quickly, but a very aggressive roll by Vala there. Garrosh, unfortunately, only hitting, I believe, one of the Zergs there. So, luckily for Vala, we'll be able to walk away. But Vala is applying a lot of pressure there onto the backline with the Anubarak diving in, followed up by the silence of Stukov. That gets rid of almost all of the healing, if all of the healing there on the side of CU Boulder. And now you see UNT applying even more pressure, picking up that Gul'dan as well, and then looking to pick up the Garrosh here. And so they're going to grab 3-for-0 trade. Definitely going to be able to get this fort. Great pressure here from Fury.
Z Fury doing quite a bit now. Just peeking back into top really quick. Looks like they're just still pressuring this. It looks like it's being won over most of the time by this Alarak, and this is the reason I was so excited about this in draft. Is the Alarak in that top lane is going to be really, really powerful. But just we have another aggression onto this gate. They're going to start opening up the sidewall, but they're going to back off. They're not at 10s yet, but they're close enough. And it's one of those things like if you do get a couple picks here, even. Well, maybe 1 or 2 would actually get you 10s, but even that you could potentially snowball the game. But at this point, we're just going to have them back off. It looks like they'll go ahead and tap wells, basically, and go ahead and get camps, too.
Backing off here is definitely the safer play. No, the opposing team does have Garrosh. The death timers are still pretty low right now. So, backing off, definitely the safe play. That wall is still there. The keep is still there. One Garrosh grab and flip is your toast. And you don't have 10, so you can't rely on a Stukov disengage or a Cocoon or anything of that sort. So Level 10, though, being reached now on the side of UNT, and I'm curious to see what we have here. We have what looks to be Flailing Swipe, Cocoon, Divine Shield, and I believe we're going to see Counter Strike and then Strafe we have.
I like this. I like the strafe. Definitely, it's going to be very good for Z Fury here, mostly because of the fact of the way that we've seen him play this game so far. I mean, he's been diving in and putting so much pressure into that backline, and the team is going in with him. So just we might see a dive in with the D shield and the strafe coming out. They can't do anything. The Horrify won't work. They can't disengage from it. They're just gonna have to take all that damage. Meanwhile, the rest of the team will be right there. So I really like the way that they're playing on the side of UNT. CU Boulder, though, is putting up a lot of good defense at this point, making sure that they can't get into this this top lane and open it up a little bit more for the next Zerg wave that they would have.
Interesting to point out, Alarak rotating back up into the top lane. They're looking to apply the amount of pressure they have. They have that 3-level lead. Excellent combo there by the Alarak. You have the Cocoon go out onto, I believe, the Ariel. So they're looking to hit a counter-strike there. No damage taken by the Alarak, though. And they're looking to take down that Ariel. Ariel does go down. Bala does get the Divine Shield. Not necessary, but she might have been tanking the tower there. Gul'dan finishing up his quest, though, so that corruption going to be starting to hurt. But what hurts more is an Alarak combo, and down goes the Gul'dan. Li Ming left alone in that top lane until Garrosh comes for some reinforcements. But this top fort going to be going down quite easily. And Alarak rotating down will be greeted by Garrosh, but Garrosh will opt to take a little bit of time, wait for the healer, and then make his way in the future.
No, definitely. The aggression on the side of UNT, it's just been they've held over this map so well, and at this point you can see CU Boulder, they're not really sure how to rotate around the map because they have no idea. They're not showing in lanes. They're not picking up camps. Like at this point, they have to play extremely safe. They get their 10s, and this is even talent here at this point. They can technically take a fight, but they're down 2 levels, so there isn't really too much they do. So they let the Zerg wave go over, and they're just going to play extremely defensively at this point and just make sure that they don't really get too much damage to this keep. Make sure that this isn't kind of a snowballed end, because there's the potential for it, especially with 13s being so close on the side of UNT.
If UNT picks up these 2 towers here, they're definitely going to get level 13. That gives them the talent advantage. And then you do have the displacement of Alarak, and that's exactly what they're going to be looking to capitalize on. You see Gul'dan positioning himself slightly behind a wall there. But, you get pulled out into the middle of a team, you kind of get screwed. And unfortunately, they're unable to actually pull them in, and Sonya coming in, but out goes the web wrap onto, I believe, the Li Ming. But down goes the Gul'dan. Nice toss by Garrosh to hopefully save the Ariel. Garrosh goes in to try and save the rest of the team. Does fall, unfortunately. They're looking to pick up the Li Ming, but barely living. They're going to be able to grab that keep. No worries on that. The Zerg wave putting in a lot of work, and now they're looking to hit into this core.
Definitely doing a ton of damage. They actually get the kill onto the Sonya there right away, and this core is starting to lose its shield. It's not gone just yet. We actually have the Gul'dan trying to put out a ton of damage, making sure that they get off of this core. Horrify is used right there. The leap is still available. Oh, excuse me, she's not alive. We actually have the toss onto Alarak there. There's a ton of damage going on onto Garrosh. She will be falling. We do have... Ariel will not get hit by the telekinesis there, but it looks like this core is going to be falling, and that's going to be game number 1 going over to the University of North Texas. I don't know why. It's just a mouthful every time.
Pretty solid game. Great aggression by UNT, though. And it becomes a point where, especially, I think the turning point in this game was when Alarak said, no need to be in the bottom lane. We have 10. They're still 8. This is a time to apply as much pressure as we can. You have the numbers advantage, and look at the kill difference here. You got 2 to 16 kills. And, UNT knows what their team is capable of. They have a ton of CC. They have displacement in Alarak, and you have that burst damage by Vala. But you can see the amount of damage dealt by Gul'dan. It's absolutely insane. It's almost double, or I guess 1.5 times greater than what the Vala has here. So a lot of poke damage coming out from Gul'dan, but unfortunately, the double supports are too much for the Gul'dan damage over time.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing to note is we talked about it a little bit, but unfortunately, the Li Ming just, I think it hindered them a little bit. I think they needed just maybe something like a Lunara would have been a little bit better. That that ranged poke, that poison would have been something they could have gotten on that backline. Maybe that would have helped them a little bit. Just overall, the double mage, as always. I mean, you always say it in Hero League and Team League and stuff like that, but I mean, it's this is more evidence towards it that just double mage is just so hard to run and pull off and execute correctly. So, but it looks like
I think it's an unfortunate composition, to be totally honest. I think that's where CU Boulder may have lost it. I think their solo laning I think their draft, like, that was fine. I think, I don't agree with the Li Ming pick is effectively where I'm going with this, unfortunately. I don't think that was necessarily the entire downfall, but...
No, not yeah, exactly. It wasn't the downfall, but it hindered the
Played a
team
big
a little
part.
bit. So that's definitely
They
something.
needed a little bit more solid damage, I would say. I couldn't even tell you what would fit that right now. Let me take a look at the heroes here and get an idea.
We have lobby, by the way.
Oh, cool. Join game. Got it. What am I thinking here? There's a lot of GM and master level players in here, so...
That was actually the one thing that they messaged me about. They were like, we think, like, even if the guy even, I think it was, I think Basshead who reached out, he was just like, I don't care if we get stomped, it's just there's a bunch of GMs in the game, and I think it's just going to be good overall. And I'm like, hey, that's what we're here for. Like, we want to we want to showcase all of the, hey, thanks for the follow, Ripper112233. But I mean, like, we want to, like, showcase, these guys, give them a platform to showcase their skills. Like, I mean, that's at least what I'm always all about for, Here's the Storm.
For sure. And as I mentioned before, this is from Tespa, so this is a collegiate level gaming platform, effectively. And it's done throughout North America. So this includes Canada as well. So you'll see a couple of Canadian teams in here. Not too many, but a couple. But it looks to me that actually, who picked the map? I didn't actually get that.
Well, we'll find out whoever's first pick.
I suppose that'll make sense. So it looks like Boulder picked Hurst
Yes.
Hollow.
Yes, I do believe so.
So something to point out is that these are best of threes, and each week the first map is set. So this week was Brax's Holdout, last week was Cursed Hollow. So the first game will always be Brax's Holdout, this week at least. And then the losing team gets to pick whether or not they want first pick or map pick. And so obviously, CU Boulder has selected the map being Cursed Hollow.
I like this hover ban on Malthael once again. I mean, even if it's just like a weak point for them, ooh, they swapped ETC at the last second. That's even better. ETC is not something you want to deal with. It's a lot like, maps with terrain and areas where you can isolate people. It's just ETC works so well at that. Like, that's why often on maps like this, like Curse Hollow or Towers of Doom or Tomb of the Spider Queen, you often see like a prioritization on the ETC, as well as like people like Tyrael, a lot of control out of Tyrael, and then you also can see Diablo as well. Those three tanks, I mean, they do really well on this map. And you can also see Arthas. He actually has a couple setups that he can work with other heroes. But it looks like at this point that another Dahaka ban from CU Boulder. It's not bad. I mean, he does even better on this map over Brax's Holdout.
It's the globals, I think, is what they're looking to get rid of. So Dahaka, global presence, pretty solid ban. ETC, potentially having access to what is that, stage dive. But first pickup in Uther, solid support, but has kind of fallen out of the meta, I suppose. You know, Brightwing, Lucio coming in a little bit more.
Meta's just whatever people feel like playing. Because I mean, come on, you want to talk about meta? Who first picks Uther goes into a Genji Abathur on Curse Hollow? Not many people.
Well, there you go. Uther with Genji Dragon Blade. So I do like the Malthael pick, and I like the Vala pick. It's two very strong picks here by CU Boulder, but the potential to come out of double Genji harass with a Dragon Blade Divine Shield is absolutely insane. And you already have two like squishy people on the side of CU Boulder here. So
I mean, the other thing you have to consider too, you can also double Uther. I mean, that's double stuns, double healing while Dragon Blade's out too. So I mean, like there's so many, like Abathur on Cursed Hollow, I absolutely love it. Like I personally, like I absolutely love specialist heroes because they're fun for the game. Like it's I enjoy like the PvE, also the like macro aspects. So like people like Asmodan or like Abathur, where you have to play that, you're playing the lanes. You're not really like focusing on. You're not like a team-centric fighting person. Like that is such an interesting hero to me. And Abathur having that map control and definitely slowing rotations with his mines would probably. Ooh, the question is, are we gonna see like a mine build or a hat build from him?
Hats. I imagine we're seeing a hat build here. Not like the supporty like healing, but
attack damage buff and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So, Ariel, pretty solid ban, I would say. Muradin, more of an interesting niche kind of ban.
Ooh.
But Johanna and Tassadar, I would suggest as a strong solo laner and incredible duo potential with the Vala, just good for Vala.
They're going to have a lot of poke on CU Boulder.
Agreed, yes. Q build and the amount of crap that comes out of Johanna and Tassadar.
So like they've got I'm looking at this and I'm just like, poke. Okay, there's poke from that. Oh my god, there's poke on that. Yeah, so it's just like they've got a lot of interrupt. That Ariel ban was really smart though from UNT, mostly because she would have paired well with those members, as well as the sustain for those fights would have been phenomenal. But Tyrael, like we were talking about control, I mean, there it is. Tyrael with, Holy Ground at 16, as well as Sanctification. The boss control in this game is going to be phenomenal out of UNT. And double Tyrael is going to be, like, you can duplicate any of the members on that team, and it would just be like, crap, run away.
It's terrifying, regardless. You thought double Genji was bad? Think about double Greymane. The cocktail damage is insane, and coupled with double Worgen, you can pick up a boss with double Worgen form in no time. Like it's a great pickup here. I think Greymane is a fantastic pick here.
It's just that Abathur, the really big thing that you're going to have to see is, can the Abathur maintain the level of soak and not get punished by any of the members on the side of CU Boulder? Because if they punish the Abathur and force him back, he doesn't get that value. They'll start to slip because it's a 4-man for every engagement till 10 at least.
Agreed. Yes, 100%. So we're going to be looking to see the Abathur play it quite aggressively and probably be out in the lanes during the what are those, the tribute phases, and looking for that body soak. But final pickup in Lucio, as I was saying, we've been seeing a lot more Lucios coming in. I think Lucio is a pretty solid pick. Malthael with
the speed boost is going to be good. Yeah.
Spooky.
They're gonna
Vala with the speed boost, even spookier.
The other thing to consider too is the rotational speed from the team is going to be increased, which is going to make them report to some of these across the map tributes are going to be really, really beneficial for them, as well as the potential for them to, if they do pick up a boss and they go to rotate to the other side, with that little bit of extra speed, you can potentially maybe go in and steal the boss if you have the options. And, there also isn't maybe a Tyrael with Sanctification on the ground and Holy Ground. So there's a lot of factors here, but the drafts from both teams, I'm really, really excited about these.
I do like both drafts. I think this is going to be a fairly even game, but I think it's really going to come down to the Abathur macro here.
Yes. But on the left-hand side, we are going to have CU Boulder with Sub-Zero on the Malthael, Celeritas on the Tassadar, Basshead on the Joanna, Pyrotechnic on the Lucio, and Revolve to Solve on the Vala.
And then over here on the right-hand side, we have University of North Texas. We got Physicals on Abathur, Calgare on Tyrael, Zed Fury on the Genji. Up in the top lane, we got AKN on Uther. Then on the bottom lane, we got Arms of Gold on Greymane.
We have this mid engagement that I'm a little excited about here because they're going ahead and they're actually putting the 5-man on the side of CU Boulder and just 3 from UNT. They're just going to go straight into their lanes and just, you know, make sure they're set up for those. I like that they're not really going for the, you know, mid kind of rush soak because it's you know, the reason people do it, it's like it's not to get the kill. They do it because it's the fastest lane and it's the quickest way to start your experience gain. So like it's not about the fight, it's just about clearing the way first.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, but I do like to see the Greymane split off really early here. But Greymane versus Malthael, gonna be a tough matchup for Greymane. I think it's actually, you know what, I think it'll be pretty even if Malthael gets in really close. Now, as long as he can keep that sustain in a wave, then he might stand a little bit more of a chance. But
this double healer on top.
Other than that, I think Uther's gonna have a tough time.
We actually have a rotation in from the Genji with the hat on. Does look like we actually have the healing at level 1 from Abathur, so we're not going to go for... Because usually I think it's the Pustule. It's usually the W talent at 1, I think, for the extra damage.
Burst, yeah,
yes,
or something
yes.
like that.
I don't know. Pustule, I don't know. It was. I was like, Zerg, it's just like Stukov. But AKN taking a little bit of damage here. Genji's going to dive out. Z-Fury will get the deflect, but unfortunately there's nothing to deflect. And this 3-man in top is just... They can't handle it at this point.
It's a lot of damage to come in from the side of CU Boulder. So, you know, Genji and Uther don't necessarily have the best wave clear, so they're going to be relying a lot on Abathur Hat to be there to help. But, you know, Tassadar, Vala, Lucio, they're going to be able to have a lot of healing come in over time, and then they're going to have the option to rotate whenever, and a lot of damage and siege potential coming out from CU Boulder as well.
Definitely. No, so far, they're very aggressive in the beginning of this game, and it looks like we're going to go ahead and have them start out on this camp, that 220 camp that we typically see. Greymane will be going ahead and doing the same, but at this point, we have had the slowest fight in mid lane, which is Caligar versus Basshead, just the tank v tank. And at this point, bottom, Sub-Zero might... Okay. If he actually put out a wave there, he might have actually seen the Abathur, but... Looks like he will be able to just play safe, and luckily for Abathur, this is all the way in the opposite lane. He's already set up. He can go ahead and push this out quite quickly.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at seeing UNT getting a lot of value here. You know, you've got Abathur making his way into the bottom lane, and then you've got that siege camp pushing in the bottom lane. So UNT looking to stall this out 100%. They're not going to be wanting to cap this as soon as they can. You know, they're just going to be wanting to stall it for as long as physically possible. But ooh, great engagement there by the Genji, barely able to interrupt it there, but, you know, they do get that interrupt, and now we're going to have Sub-Zero starting it up.
Sub-Zero will probably get this. It looks like, oh no, yeah, actually Z-Fury dives into the last second. That is going to be the Joanna falling to the Uther there, and they're going to go ahead and back off at this point. Now, at the same time, they could delay this fight a little bit longer, because as you had noted before, in that bottom lane, we currently have Giants stacked up with the Abathur, who's just down there in the lane, but Z-Fury actually going to be able to, excuse me, the Tyrell's going to go ahead and get that kill. Dives in once again, trying to get the deflect onto a few of the members that are low, and they don't get the kill. But with that Vala staggered death, they definitely have a lot of pressure, and they're starting to kind of, you know, we're starting to see what was UNT last game. You know, they had a slow, like, pacing to the start of their game. It's almost like they're kind of, like, learning what their enemies are doing, and then they just start to exploit some of the things that they've found. Because at this point, we're seeing that XP gain that we had last time from UNT.
Yeah, and with this tribute coming up in the top lane again, we might actually see Malthael stick down here and wait for, you know, Abathur to potentially come out. But up in that top lane, Lucio going down, Vala also going down. This is exactly what UNT will be looking for. Can they get the triple? As Basshead trying to walk away, doesn't unfortunately live, does go down to that cocktail. And then you got Uther able to pick up the tribute there. We're looking at a 1-1 right now in tributes. And now you've got UNT looking to go into this boss, very early boss. As I said, you know, they have a lot of attack damage here in Greymane, and combined with the other 3 members there, they're going to be able to take it down quite quickly. And unfortunately, CU Boulder not aware.
No, unfortunately, well, even if they were, they really couldn't get onto this boss, especially because of the fact that most of their members are just getting back in lane and in position. We had Vala and Lucio go ahead and pick up the camp. They will start to chase Basshead a little bit here, but unfortunately, unfortunately for us, the viewers, we don't get to see the chase kill, but it looks like they're just going to go ahead and posture in this bottom left position, because I believe, yeah, okay. Because it was middle top, right top, it made sense for it to be bottom left, and they went ahead and timed that out perfectly. They just waited for it.
Yeah, so they're very lucky right now. UNT is extremely lucky with these tribute spawnings and their locations, and it looks to me that CU Boulder is going to leave the boss up in the top lane, try and stall out here. Johanna really good at trying to deny the engage, but unfortunately Genji with that dash will be able to zip in there and interrupt it. Abathur soak in the mid lane, does have Mule as well, so you're going to be looking for CU Boulder to apply as much damage as possible, but Bala trying to chase in Johanna on that backline as well. Might be able to pick up the Uther here if they have a little bit of extra damage, but that is not the case. And Genji in a little bit of a rough spot, doesn't actually get that the dash over the wall, and might actually go down here, walking away with 20-something health. Does get the heal from Uther, does opt to path through the bush. Great cleanse there to deny the stun and slow. Is able to jump out though, and now you've got Greymane stuck in there, so unfortunately they do lose 1 member as the tribute is picked up from the side of CU Boulder.
At this point, the boss has pushed into the top lane, completely opened this up. This gives them 10s on the side of UNT, and this is a pretty powerful push for them. I mean, they got an entire fort during that, and that delay got them so much value. And then we currently also have Abathur going ahead and posturing up into that top lane. He's going to go ahead and show a little bit too, trying to, get them to bait and chase.
He did walk through that wall. So, CU Boulder does have the knowledge that he is up in that top lane. So they do need to be cautious of that, but looks like we're going to be rotating into the bottom lane. Dragonblade does go out. Malthael trying to walk away, will not be able to do so as the double Genji is now onto the Johanna. Physicals will be able to come in and pick up that kill. Now you've got Genji being chased out by Lucio, but will be healed by the Uther and will be walking away, but can't say the same about the Abathur clone there.
No, well, it's going to be able to get that away, but we do have the curse point being picked up. Basically, this is going to be curse against UNT, but you wouldn't think that based on the way that this map has been going. They currently are pushing into the bottom lane. They're going to be able to open this up even more, and they're cursed, and they're opening up the map for themselves. They're completely ignoring this. Tacitus going to go ahead into the mid, push this in, but they're going to go also dedicate the majority of their team into the top, open this up quite a bit. And now they're going to have to respond to this. Potentially, they could go for the gank onto the Tassadar. That's the thing that we need to see. They go in for the flank position. There is quite a bit of damage going out onto him. The stun is out, and they get the kill right away. And at that moment, you instantly see all 3 of the members rotating into mid as well as backing off of that top.
Yeah, this is an excellent rotation here from UNT. Unfortunately, Tassadar unable to get the dimensional shift, as you do have that lockdown from Uther. And as you can see earlier, they were abusing the Tyrael shields to shield the minions so that they could tank the tower a little bit longer and actually grab that bottom fort. But CU Boulder were able to grab the top fort and what was the majority of this middle fort. But as I was saying before, they do have Mule. So
currently have a dive in on the bottom, actually. They have a huge sanctification, actually. They pull out a few of the ultimates. The clone is out on from Genji. The Johanna is going to use her falling sword. It will not connect onto any of the members. Genji trying to get into that back lane, do a little bit. Well, clone Genji is trying to get a bunch of damage done, but they pull the majority of the ultimates out. Both Genjis diving in, trying to get a lot of value here. Curse Bullet does come out from the Greymane, who has rotated in. He is taking quite a bit of damage. Huge Tormented Souls onto so many of the members, but unfortunately it isn't getting a ton of value. We have just the Tassadar dying here, and they're starting to turn this around. The Vol will be falling next. Johanna trying to delay this a little bit, save Pyrotechnic, but he will be falling. Sub-Zero getting chased down, and that is going to be a kill onto him as well. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see the boss being picked up in a push onto the bottom keep.
I think this is exactly what's going to be happening. You're going to be seeing UNT take advantage of this 4-man down position that they have. Grab this bottom boss. Top boss is up in about 8 seconds now, so you're going to be making your way up to that top boss. You've got forts down in those 2 lanes, so you're going to be having a ton of pressure in those 2 lanes. This boss doesn't have to walk nearly as far as the top boss to get to the keep, so I would imagine...
Are you going to be able to get out? Looks like... Oh, okay. The Curse Ball came out, and there was so much dive. I was just like, I don't know, but at least the Iron Skin was there for the save.
So yeah, luckily Johanna is able to get out, but now they are more than aware that they'll be rotating up for that top boss.
And unfortunately, there really isn't anything they can do about it. They get the camp to apply some pressure into mid, and they're going to have to clear this out. 13s aren't achieved, so technically they could take that, but they would be fighting a talent tier down. So it's just too much of a risk. Just the clear is the best way to go about it.
Now, they are grabbing that camp in the mid lane, so that'll apply a little bit of pressure there, but Abathur has his hat there, does get taken down, unfortunately, but Abathur will be looking to apply a little bit more pressure in the middle lane and help it be cleared.
No, definitely, I really like the way UNT is playing the map is just, they're playing around the objective. They're not, you don't see them really chasing down too many fights, and Colorado's playing kind of the same way. Like, they're not, you saw a couple flanks here and there from someone who was in his lane by themselves. Obviously you see that rotation, but they're not going around as a 5-man just looking for fights. They're just we're gonna go get the tribute, we're gonna apply some pressure into the lane, we're gonna go apply pressure here, and then we're gonna go back to the tribute. So they're just playing the macro game here, and I absolutely love it. And I think it's honestly throwing CU Boulder off a little bit. They're trying to split their assets to clear out these waves as quick as possible, but then that's when you see that they'll group up and 3 of the members will go into one of the lanes and get a pick onto one of the members. So just UNT playing this map really well.
Definitely are getting a lot of value out of that macro play, and having that Abathur as well, just being able to soak those off lanes. You can see that they have just over a full, almost a 2-level lead here. So the macro play has definitely been UNT's success in this game so far. Absolutely,
and we just saw during that entire engagement, what we just saw was CU Boulder was like, all right, they don't have 16s yet. The curse is going to come up. This is going to be curse point for them. We need to fight them before anything happens. And UNT just said, no, we know what you're doing. We're going to back off. We've got 16s. And you can see how CU is just trying to poke. They're going in for the engagement. We do have a dive in from Genji. There is a huge sanctification as well as a break it down, as well as the Tormented Souls. Malthy will be the first one to fall in this engagement. We have so much damage on that backline. Tacit will be falling right after that. Vala on top of that. Lucio as well. Basshead is the only one left. It looks like he will get chased down. Tyrael will go ahead and pick up this curse point, and they will be rotating into mid, clearing up this fort, and definitely taking at least 1 keep during this.
That 5-0 trade right there, the death timers are still fairly low, fortunately for the side of CU Boulder, but they're going to be looking to apply some keep damage in the lanes that, have a boss here. So immediately heading down to that bottom lane, looking to clear that up. Malthael and Tassadar and Vala and Lucio are now all back up. So they do pick up that bottom keep, probably rotate up here. So they're going to be taking the middle one here. And then I imagine potentially looking to grab the top one as well. I thought they might have had enough time to, get 2 keeps here. And that's what I would hope to see. And they've been playing really aggressive so far. Why stop now?
Definitely. We have a little bit of a fight here happening. Just a lot of posturing back and forth. We do have a dive in from Genji. There is the Curse Bolt that did go out. Calgar in this backline doing a ton of damage, separating so many of the members away. We do have the strafe out from Vala. She will get stunned out of it by physicals. Dive in from Bashev with the falling sword. They're starting to chase UNT out here. Calgar taking so much damage. Does he have the ability to get out? He will be dying, but there is the bomb. Looks like Pyrotechnic could be the target. He will be the one falling in this, and that is so much of the team actually dying. Arms of Gold will be able to potentially get out, but that is going to be Uther falling here. He will have some death heals that he can give out to Grayman, keeping him alive. But it's currently, technically it's 3v2, and we are going to have Okay, so the Uther is dead. This would be one Genji versus Joanna with an Abathur hat.
Yeah, this is just a huge battle for whoever can get, you know, the most kills here. And unfortunately, UNT gonna take that one. 5 people going down. You know, Lucio fell thanks to the Tyrael here, but Lucio's up and Tyrael isn't. And that's what this level lead will do for death timers here. So, you know, Tyrael's still not up, and as this game progresses, the death timers are gonna get longer and longer. And if CU Boulder can trade, you know, maybe 2 for 2 or 2 for 3 or whatever those numbers may be, as long as not everybody dies on their team, you know, they do have pockets of opportunity to move in, grab some camps, potentially take a boss, apply some structure damage, and that's what CU Boulder is going to be looking for.
Do they go for? They will go for the boss, but it's going to be scouted out right away because Abathur. You can already see one Abathur mine was cleared out. He put another. They killed it right away. So the team knows. UNT knows that they have to go onto this boss right away. Sanctification is up. We have everything is up except for Dragon Blade at this point, and we do have a huge. They're riding in. Calgar's already positioned himself right on to the point where we would see the members. They're going to go ahead and just steal this boss. Genji clone is going to be in that backline with the real one as well. They're trying to actually get the kill onto the real one. Protect status will be out. There is the D-shield onto him as well for that disengage. Curse Bolt does go out. I do not believe it connected onto anyone. We do have the clone going out, but unfortunately did not get the kill onto Celeritas is who they were looking for. Basshead going to go ahead, dive back in. There is a huge Tormented Souls into 4 of the members. They're getting quite a bit of damage out. There is a Falling Sword from Joanna. They're getting quite a bit. The Break It Down was used. AKN going to take a lot of damage here. He does have his 20, so he should be able to come back alive. Celeritas is going to be falling here. We also have the Greymane falling, and the swipe from Genji will kill the Vala. Zephyr doing so much damage, but Sub-Zero trying to get that damage out. Unfortunately, they get the kill onto the revived Uther as well as onto Malthael. This is going to be Basshead dying here, and that core has already been falling. This game looks like it will be going over to UNT. GG, well played.
Definitely great game. What a great series of fights.